What's up, guys? We're back with another video today, and guys, listen, I know I've been gone for a little bit, but listen, I am back now. I was gone from Italy, guys. I was at Italy with my family, I had a great time, looking at all the mountains, all the food, and all that stuff. I was also there looking for Marvin Vettori, I wanted to throw hands with him. No, I'm joking, but no, seriously though, I had a good time. Sorry I didn't tell you guys. I did post on my community notes, but my bad. But while I was in Italy, guys, I was thinking about UFC. Don't get it wrong, guys. Don't get it twisted. Just because I was in Italy doesn't mean I wasn't thinking about UFC. And I came up with a big brain idea, guys, just absolutely ginormous. And that idea is, what were some of the most entertaining UFC champions that we had, right, guys? Because everybody talks about who's the best champion and all that stuff, blah 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 blah. Everybody talks about that, but what were the most entertaining champions, right? Who were the most exciting to watch? They don't have to be the best fighter of that division, guys. They just have to be the most exciting and most entertaining, right, guys? So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be looking at the most entertaining UFC champion of each division. And just before we start, I will be including their losses as well, because those could also be entertaining as well, and they'll be fighting still as the champion. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, now for the most entertaining flyweight champion, guys, I have Demetrius Johnson. Now, you could do Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo, those guys, they were entertaining, but the reason why I have Demetrius Johnson on here, even though he hasn't fought in the UFC in maybe I want to say 7 years at this point or something like that, is due to the fact that he had a lot more championship bouts compared to every single other flyweight champion combined right now. And also just the fact that Demetrius' wins in the UFC, how he won his fights were more iconic. I mean, the submission he did against Ray Borg, literally perfect. You cannot get a better submission like that. That is one of the greatest submissions I've ever seen in my entire life right there. He didn't have as many iconic flyweight championship bouts compared to Brandon Moreno and Pantoja, because Brandon Moreno's most exciting ones were against Davison Figueiredo, and I would say the quadrilogy that he had with Davison were probably more iconic compared to Demetrius. But Demetrius has always been in a good fight, and the reason why I think Demetrius edges over those other guys, major pause, is also his one championship bouts. I'm also going to count those in. I know they're not UFC, but they were basically UFC material fight right there. I mean, his trilogy against Adriano Moraes was really iconic. That is, I would say, one of Demetrius' best wins, because he was 37, 36 at the time when he fought him, and especially his second fight with him, I thought was really impressive. And to me, his trilogy against Adriano Moraes is why I have him as the most entertaining flyweight champion in UFC history. Now, for the most entertaining bantamweight champion, guys, I have TJ Dillashaw. I think TJ Dillashaw is one of the most underrated bantamweight champions. Yes, did he lose to a lot of the top level guys like Henry Cejudo, Aljamain, Dominic Cruz? Yes. Is his best win Cody Garbrandt? Yes. But, it's not just about that. I think his skill set was really underrated, Had he not messed up with the PEDs, I think he could have done really well as a champion bantamweight. If he just stayed there and didn't go down, I think he would have done really, really well. Sucks for him, I mean, that's what happens when you cheat, I guess, when you use drugs. But, overall, I still think TJ Dillashaw, I like TJ Dillashaw. I think he's pretty entertaining. I thought he was really good as a champion, and his fights were really good. He was always in a scrap when he was in the championship bouts. I don't know why. It was just really exciting to watch him fight. Alright, now for the most entertaining featherweight champion, guys, I have Alexander Volkanovski. Listen, you could make an argument for Max Holloway, but he has not had as many championship bouts. Remember, I'm only counting the championship bouts, not non-championship bouts, strictly championship bouts. And I think Volkanovski, yeah, there is Jose Aldo, but I don't know. I don't think Jose Aldo's fights were that good. I mean, some of them were good. Like the Chad Mendes fight. His second one in particular, I thought was a really good fight right there. But overall, Alexander Volkanovski's fights, when he's always in a dog fight when it comes to his championship bouts. Brian Ortega, the second Max Holloway fight, the Islam fight as well. I am also counting championship losses as well, just so you guys know. And the Diego Lopez one, like just now, like that was a great fight right there. Like I feel like Volkanovski is always in a dogfight, and I think that that's what makes him like one of the most entertaining champions, guys. I really think that, and that's what makes Volk so good though. Not only is he the GOAT at featherweight, in my opinion, guys, but he's just like, he really goes at it. Like he doesn't have to like go into these scraps, especially at what age he is and the fact that he's a champion. But he does. He pushes it. He gets into a dirty fight. And most of the time, he comes out on top. And ignore the Islam fight, guys. Ignore the Islam fight. But you get what I mean, though. Volk really risks it. And he comes out on top most of the time. All right, now for the most entertaining lightweight champion, it's Charles Oliveira, guys. Listen, Charles Oliveira, even though he had, like, basically 2 title defenses and also his loss to Islam Makhachev and the Michael Chandler fight, it's not really that many title fights. I'm going to be honest with you. But they were so iconic, man. Come on. You can't deny it. The Justin Gaethje one, that's probably the most exciting one out of all of them, bro. They were throwing hands. That's really Charles Oliveira's game plan when he fights. Just throw hands. Doesn't matter, you know, about logic, technique, and all that stuff. He's becoming more about that, like, nowadays. Like, I feel like he's more technical, especially with the Michael Chandler fight and the Arman Tsarukyan fight. But when he was in those championship fights, he was just throwing hands, bro. He was just going crazy, scrapping and all that stuff. You could honestly put Frankie Edgar on here, I feel. I was thinking Frankie Edgar a little bit, but I was like, nah, not really. There was also Khabib, but really, Khabib, he's alright, but he's not, like, crazy entertaining, in my opinion. He's not really. His most entertaining fight was, like, the Justin Gaethje one, his last fight in UFC. That was probably his most entertaining fight, if I'm gonna be honest. And the rest of them were just, like, average. They weren't anything crazy. They weren't boring, weren't exciting. They were just average title fights, so no, Khabib's not on here at all. It just had to be Charles Oliveira, in my opinion. All right, now for the most entertaining welterweight champion, this is the most easiest pick. It is Robbie Lawler, guys. I don't think there is any other contender on this list. If you pick any other welterweight, in my honest opinion, you're just flat wrong. I mean, look at what Robbie Lawler's like title fights were against. They were against Rory McDonald and Carlos Condit. Both of those are fight of the year alone. So I just feel like that's just a free win for Robbie Lawler. I mean, he was always, especially when he was in those title fights, man, he was just throwing. He was just scrapping. Robbie Lawler is the perfect example of a exciting, crazy fighter, man, because he would always go for it, man. And I miss him, honestly. I miss the type of fighter that Robbie Lawler was. You don't see that nowadays, especially with these championship fights. They usually play it safe. They don't go too crazy. You never see a fighter like Robbie Lawler nowadays who just goes crazy and just has these exciting fights, man. You just don't see that nowadays, I feel. All right, now for the most entertaining middleweight champion, I have Anderson Silva. Again, I mean, this one was an easy one. I was thinking maybe DDP could be on here because DDP actually, he is pretty exciting. Like, his Adesanya fight was actually really underrated. That fight is so underrated, guys. I'm not gonna lie. That was such an underrated fight right there. But, I mean, DDP's, like, fights, as far as the championship goes, they've been alright. I mean, the Sean Strickland one, the first one was actually a pretty good fight. The Adesanya one was really good, in my opinion. And the second Strickland fight wasn't really that exciting. It was just a clear, like, ass-whooping from DDP to Strickland. So, he's only had, like, 2 really exciting fights, whereas Anderson Silva's had, like, so many iconic fights, like the Vitor Belfort head kick, the Forrest Griffin knockout. You know, I could go on and on and on, and especially when he got knocked out by Chris Weidman to lose his championship fight, that was just so iconic. I mean, I could just go on and on and on, and it would just, we'd be here for, like, 20 minutes just talking about his exciting fights. He had some stinkers, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying Anderson was always exciting. He had some stinker fights when he was a championship. I think he had like 2 of them, like really good stinkers. But overall, he has so many title fights, man, that some of them are gonna be stinkers, I'm not gonna lie. Same with Demetrius. Demetrius had some stinker fights, but he's still the most entertaining flyweight champion because he just had so many title fights. And that's the same with Anderson Silva. He had some stinker fights, but most of the time they were either average or really exciting. All right, now for the most entertaining light heavyweight champion, guys. Now this one was a little bit tough because I have Chuck Liddell and Alex Pereira, right? I couldn't decide on who was more exciting because Chuck Liddell is a fan favorite for me, guys. I love Chuck Liddell. He is so exciting. Like I rewatch his fights because obviously I didn't watch the UFC back then. I'm rewatching his fights recently on YouTube, and like the one with Vanderlei Silva, I know it's not a title fight, but it was still super exciting. That's such a good fight right there. The one with T. Ortiz and the one with Randy Couture, you know, he had so many exciting fights when he was the champion, man. Were they high level? Like, no. Like, you could tell that the guys nowadays would beat up the guys back then, I would say. But they were just so exciting, man. They were so good back in the day, man. I miss watching those guys. I wish I was around in the UFC back in the day to watch that, because I would have been a fan instantly. And for Alex Pereira, I mean, Alex Pereira's run at light heavyweight has been insane. I mean, Yuri Prohaska to win the belt, then Jamal Hill to knock him out UFC 300 and emoting on him, already iconic. Then he rematches Yuri again on a short notice, mind you, and flatline and just KOs him, destroys him even worse than the first fight. And then he has possibly his best fight against Khalil Roundtree, which was a scrap. I loved that fight right there. And he obviously had the stink with Magomed. Yeah, I mean, so like what? We have like 3 really exciting fights at light heavyweight and 1 stinker. But those 3 fights were really, really exciting. So I think that evens it out. And you can make an argument for either one of these guys. It's 50-50 for me of who I would say is more exciting. Because, like, I thought both of them were equally as exciting. I honestly don't know who to pick, honestly. I really think both of them are just too equal as an exciting champion. Alright, now, finally, for the most entertaining heavyweight champion, guys, I'm gonna go with Daniel Cormier. It might be a little of a hot take right here. I mean, you could go with Cain Velasquez, you could go with Stipe, you know, those guys were definitely exciting, but I don't know, man. Most of them, they kind of had stinker fights. Most of the time, I feel heavyweight champions have like one like really exciting fight and iconic performance, and then the rest are just like average, I feel. I don't know. I mean, for Stipe, he obviously has like, I would say his most exciting fight was against Alistair Overeem. That was pretty good, even though it was only like 3 minutes of that fight, and the rest of his fights were kind of just mid, I feel. I mean, obviously we're excluding Daniel Cormier because I have him on here, but it's same with Cain Velasquez. His most exciting title fight, I would say, was either the Duno Dos Santos one or Brock Lesnar one, and I go either one with those ones. You could make an argument for Cain Velasquez on here, but I went with Daniel Cormier just because I would say, yeah, he didn't have that many like title fights at heavyweight, but the ones they did have were really exciting in my opinion. Obviously, when he won the belt against Stipe, that was extremely iconic. And then the second fight with Stipe was a war, and it was actually really good. Daniel was winning that fight, but Stipe was able to figure out DC's weakness and exploit it, and he won the belt back, and it was crazy. And then the third fight, average, not much I could really say. And then there was also the Derek Lewis fight. That was also just very interesting. That was kind of a weird fight right there. I don't know. I just feel like Daniel Cormier's like fights at heavyweight were more interesting than like the other guys, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like DC was probably the most entertaining heavyweight out there, in my opinion. That might be a hot take. I don't know. But guys, that is me covering the most entertaining champions of each division. Let me know what you guys thought about these. Do you agree with them? Do you not? Give me your honest thoughts, you know. And you will be seeing me upload again, guys. Now that I am back from Italy, I will be returning back to hopefully normal. We'll see how it goes. I've got some good ideas for you guys. I think you're gonna like them. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!